You know that feeling when the modern world just feels overwhelmingly loud? Like the distractions are literally pulling you in a million directions at once? It's a completely universal struggle. How do you actually stay grounded when everything around you is chaotic? Well, in this explainer, we're unpacking a highly informative, honestly kind of mind-blowing concept from ancient Eastern philosophy. The Thai texts refer to it as Kokreng Reng Mung, which essentially translates to unwavering determination. We're going to deconstruct exactly what this deep spiritual resolve is, and more importantly, how you can use it as your ultimate anchor.
Here's the agenda for our explainer today. 1. Defining unwavering determination. 2. The metaphor of bamboo. 3. Desires versus spiritual resolve. 4. The power of vows. And 5. Cultivating daily resilience.
So look, the core problem is obvious, right? In a chaotic world, losing our way is kind of the default setting. We get completely swept up in the current of our careers, our feeds, and endless responsibilities. But the ancient texts we're analyzing today don't tell you to just run away and live in a cave. Instead, they offer a highly practical internal solution: cultivating unwavering determination. It's not an escape, it's the anchor that keeps your ship steady when the storm hits.
Section 1. Defining unwavering determination. Let's look at the roots.
Okay, the etymology here is actually super fascinating. The original Chinese characters for this concept are zi ji. Zi means resolve, and visually, the character is literally a scholar standing over a heart. It perfectly captures this idea of a steadfast, noble mind that's firmly grounded in a strong heart. Then you have jia, which means integrity. But here's the cool part. It literally refers to the joints of a bamboo stalk. You know, the exact parts that give bamboo its unbending structural strength. I love how it takes this abstract, lofty spiritual idea and grounds it in totally tangible language. Put those pieces together and we hit our core definition. Unwavering determination is the steadfast integrity of a spiritual cultivator facing life's tests, remaining upright and true. It's a commitment that absolutely does not flinch when things get hard. It means locking on to your foundational principles, your inner light, no matter what external chaos is thrown at you. It is quite literally about having the structural integrity to withstand heavy winds. Section 2. The metaphor of bamboo. This brings us to one of the most powerful metaphors in the texts. Listen to this quote. Why does bamboo not break in the wind? Because it yields to the force. It sounds like a total paradox, right? We're so conditioned to think of determination as being rigid, like a solid brick wall. But honestly, a brick wall is going to topple over if the wind pushes hard enough. True, lasting resilience isn't about rigid resistance. It's adaptable strength. So bamboo represents this incredible ability to yield to circumstances without losing your core integrity. Think about applying that to your own life. It means you can bend. You can adapt to a sudden crisis at work, a massive shift in your personal life, or some unexpected hardship. And you do it without letting it break your spirit. You acknowledge the force hitting you, you adjust your posture, but your roots, they stay firmly planted in the ground. Section 3. Desires versus spiritual resolve. All right, so what's the main thing trying to uproot us? The texts spend a ton of time on this massive tension between worldly distractions and spiritual focus. The classic of Purity and Tranquility, which is a foundational text we're drawing from here, contrasts these two paths perfectly. You've got the worldly path, driven by the 6 desires, which basically just leads you to wander aimlessly in a sea of suffering. It scatters your mind. But then you have the spiritual path, driven by purity and tranquility. By actually emptying your mind of those endless desires, you reach a profound stillness where your true nature can shine. The texts do not sugarcoat this at all. They state directly, whoever indulges in desires will lack virtue. It's a pretty stark warning. The core idea here is that sensory overload, that constant buzzing craving for material stuff or status, it literally drains your willpower battery. If your energy is constantly fragmented across a dozen different worldly pursuits, you're never going to have the concentrated strength you need to maintain real spiritual or personal resolve. That is exactly why your determination acts as your armor. The texts talk about the 3 poisons, which are greed, anger, and ignorance. When the world comes at you with those poisons, your resolve is the protective force field that keeps you anchored. It acts like a filter, letting you operate in the messy real world without getting corrupted by it. Section 4. The power of vows. So, how do we forge that armor? The ancients used a specific mechanism to basically supercharge their resolve: the vow. Setting a massive spiritual goal or vow is the ultimate catalyst.
And to be clear, we are not talking about a casual New Year's resolution here. A vow is a profound, line-in-the-sand intention that aligns your entire being. The texts argue that committing on this massive scale, like dedicating your life to seeking truth or helping others, unlocks immense internal strength. And even more wildly, it pulls in unseen external support to back you up. The text is explicit about this. Set a massive vow, and the help received will be massive. It's a direct one-to-one correlation. The size and selflessness of your goals directly dictate the strength you'll find to pull them off. When your determination is anchored to something infinitely larger than your own ego, you tap into a reservoir of energy that's just inaccessible otherwise. This mechanism sets up a really fascinating clash: spiritual willpower versus worldly karma. The teachings acknowledge that worldly karma, that heavy, endless cycle of past actions and reactions, is a massive force. But spiritual willpower, generated by a true vow, it's actually stronger. It's the trump card. Even if you're staring down a literal mountain of obstacles, a sincere, unyielding vow has the power to transform them. Ultimately, your mindset is what dictates your reality.
Section 5. Cultivating daily resilience. We've covered the high-level philosophy, but how do we actually do this on a random Tuesday? The texts give us a super practical 4-step blueprint. 1. Empty the mind. Clear out the frantic, anxious noise. 2. Fill the spirit. Nourish yourself with positive, grounding truths. 3. Weaken worldly ambitions. Stop letting your ego and the need for status drive the bus. And 4. Strengthen the bones of resolve. Build your endurance, treat hardship as a training ground, and fortify your inner structure, just like those bamboo joints. For your daily operations, here's the checklist from the texts. Maintain gratitude. Always recognize the good you've been given. Do not blame others or the universe when things go sideways. Own it. Stay fully grounded in reality, feet on the floor. And, as we said, yield like bamboo when adversity hits. They sound simple, right? But executing these every single day, that is the ultimate test of your determination. I absolutely have to share this famous proverb from the texts because it just nails the entire concept of this explainer. With constant effort, an iron beam can be ground into a needle. Just think about that imagery for a second. It perfectly illustrates the insane power of unyielding patience and focus. It literally doesn't matter how impossible the task feels. Consistent, determined effort can reshape reality itself. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. What iron beam are you currently grinding in your own life? What is that massive, seemingly impossible challenge that demands your kakrangangmung, your unwavering determination? Remember the bamboo. Remember the sheer power of making a vow. If your resolve is steadfast, there is literally nothing you cannot shape. Thanks for hanging out for this explainer, and I really hope this ancient framework helps you stay upright and true out there.